I find most of the films about my father incredibly irritating because, I find that they really don't reflect the man who I remember. And I think that this film is incredible because to really capture his extraordinary moral courage in going to Indianapolis that night and the difficulties that he faced took a filmmaker of tremendous sensitivity and understanding, a depth of understanding of exactly what those implications were, not only as a historical moment for our country, but more for just as a portrait of the capacity of the human spirit to really triumph in a very, very, very difficult moment.
I was 15 years old when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated and living elsewhere, and this speech was buried in the aftermath of his assassination and the riots. And it was Joe Klein's book, Politics Lost, that came out in 2006, I believe, and I read an excerpt in Time magazine and was astounded by this story. I'm a communication professor at Anderson University, and I looked at this and said, my goodness, what an amazing example of communication. And that haunted me, I guess. It came back periodically every month or two, and at some point it's like, this story needs to be told.
The moral courage that Bobby Kennedy expresses what jumps at me and what inspires, I think, a generation of politicians who understand that politics is more than focus groups, it's more than polls.
He called forth the best in all of us, you know, the part of us that believes in hope and the possibility of change and a more just and peaceful world. And I think that that really is brought out in this film.
Roy, for you who've made so many, who know how hard it is to tell a story in a film, for you, what was the impact of this?
Well, I would reiterate what Kerry said. I think it's an extraordinarily powerful film, and the setup of the film and the setup before Indianapolis, a story about the young girl. I had never heard that story before. I think you did a really extraordinary job.
The more you look back on what was lost, that speech took on just more and more. It became clearer and clearer what the speech had meant.
I think there's that sense of there's something harming our nation, and I can do something about that, and I'm going to go and do it, which is an amazing sort of mentality for someone to have. I can go and stop this, and it was great.
This is very powerful for me. I knew it was coming. To watch him here tonight, to hear that voice, I wept through most of the film, just to see those images again. I mean, I'm so deeply, deeply moved by that.
Don, thank you so much for celebrating this moment.